It's Thursday, August 13th. In the headlines, government mobilizes relief for families displaced in Cooper's Pen. In business news, gas prices down by 25 cents. Regionally, Caribbean judiciaries back the Caribbean Court of Justice amid leaked emails. And in sports, condolence book opened in honor of legendary coach Stephen Frano Francis. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The government has mobilized a multi-agency response to assist some 40 families left homeless after their houses were demolished in Cooper's Pen, Trelawney, early Tuesday morning. The Office of the Prime Minister says the matter arose from a long-standing private dispute and that the government was not a party to the underlying issue. However, several state agencies have been deployed to address the immediate humanitarian and social needs of the affected families. Teams worked into Tuesday night and returned on Wednesday with relief supplies, including food, bottled water, toiletries, buckets, beds, tents, lighting equipment, and other temporary shelter items. Labor and Social Security Minister Pernell Charles Jr. says social workers are assessing the immediate needs of the families.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security's immediate concern is the welfare of the families affected in Cooper's Pen, particularly the children, the seniors, any persons with disabilities that are there, and other persons that may be considered vulnerable. Our social workers have been on the ground, assessing the needs of the residents and providing immediate assistance, supporting other government agencies as well, and we will continue working with our partners to ensure that the affected families receive the support available through the Ministry's social protection programs.
The minister says his ministry will return to Cooper's Pen on Friday to provide additional assistance.
As part of our continued response, the ministry will return to Cooper's Pen on Friday, August 14th. When we return, we will be distributing food and other essential supplies to affected families, and we want to ensure that families have immediate support going into the weekend. Beyond Friday's distribution now, our team will continue the assessments and continue to partner with other government agencies to determine what additional assistance can be provided and needs to be provided to the families.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development is expected to provide drop-in shelters for the displaced residents. Public procurement in Jamaica has undergone a major transformation, moving from a largely paper-based manual process to a more transparent and digitally driven system. The introduction of the Government of Jamaica electronic procurement system in 2015 marked a major milestone, but the reform journey did not stop there. In part one of the procurement journey, we look at how procurement evolved and how data is now being used to make government spending more strategic, efficient, and accountable.
Every transformation begins with a vision and ultimately a commitment to drive change. Prior to the late 1990s, public procurement in Jamaica was largely a paper-based process and lacked the strategic analysis required to inform the effective management of public funds. The process relied heavily on manual documentation, physical tender submissions, face-to-face interactions, making procurement both time-consuming and resource-intensive. This led to the national policy shift from a centralized framework through the Central Supplies Division in the Ministry of Finance to a decentralized procurement function where procuring entities were given the authority to manage their own public procurement transactions. As Jamaica modernized in keeping with international best practices, public procurement also evolved alongside Jamaica's broader transformation agenda that included codifying Jamaica's public procurement regime through the specific policy and procedures aimed at establishing clear principles of accountability, transparency, competition, and value for money. Supported by our international development partners, comprehensive assessments were undertaken during the mid-2000s that confirmed Jamaica's readiness to effectively implement an electronic procurement system. This journey encompassed a holistic reform agenda. Landmark legislative reforms, including the Public Procurement Act 2015, which was further amended in 2018 and supported by attendant regulations. This created a modern legal framework supported by a suite of standard bidding documents and a dedicated career pathway in the public sector for practitioners, all supported by the use of technology in public procurement. In 2015, that vision became a reality with the launch of the Government of Jamaica Electronic Procurement System, GOJEP. GOJEP transformed and shifted procurement from fragmented paper processes into a secure, searchable digital platform, improving openness, accountability, and public confidence in government procurement. It was more than the introduction of a new system. It marked the beginning of Jamaica's first generation of public procurement reform and the introduction of digital innovation and continuous improvements.
The first generation of reform taught us that GOJEP could take a procurement system outside of a filing cabinet and put it onto a secure online platform so that anyone, anywhere in the world could engage with public procurement in Jamaica. And that itself was a remarkable achievement. But those of us who worked closely with the system came to understand GOJEP was generating data, and that data taken together would tell a really compelling story about how the government of Jamaica is spending billions of dollars of public money each year. For far too long, we treated that data as a byproduct of compliance, as something simply to be stored rather than something to be studied. And the question that therefore began to occupy us was, if we knew what we are buying, where we're buying it from, at what price, from whom we are buying it, why are we not using that knowledge to buy better? And that question is really what set the next piece of reform into motion. Because the ambition that we had was to, and still is, to move GOJEP from a system of record to a system of insight. A platform that does not merely capture procurement activity but makes sense of it. One that gives a procuring entity a clear view of its own spending, that allows policymakers to see patterns across the whole of government, and that surfaces where we are paying too much, where competition is thin, and where aggregating our demand could deliver real savings. So before I admitted office, we began to lay that foundation. We started to reframe procurement data as a strategic national asset rather than an administrative burden. And we looked hard at a number of important tools and considerations that surrounded data, and in particular the kind of data that we were getting and we could get from GOJEP. We did spend analysis. We started to generate categories that could deal or take on greater weight in our overall strategy. And we looked at early warning signals that well-organized data can reveal long before a problem becomes a headline. And that work was not finished. Reform of this kind rarely is, but the direction was set. What we launched today carries that vision forward and gives it life.
In the business report, motorists should see a decrease at the pumps in the price of gasoline effective Thursday, August 13. According to the latest ex-refinery costs from Petrojam, 90 octane will be sold for $213.22 per liter, after a decrease of 25 cents, while 87 octane will be sold for $204.30 37 cents, a decrease of 25 cents. Automotive diesel will be sold for $229 after a decrease of 25 cents, and ultra-low sulfur diesel will be sold for $249.08 per liter, down 25 cents. Propane liquid petroleum dropped to $76.36 per liter after a 4-cent decrease, and butane liquid petroleum will be sold for $85.67 per liter, down by 25 cents. Marketing companies and retailers will add their respective markups to these prices. We have more news in the world of business from Denise Williams.
PVC pipe and plastics manufacturer Omni Industries reports a 74% increase in 6 months net profit. There was no tax charge incurred for the 6 months ending June 30, 2026, and the same for 2025, reflecting the company's junior market tax exemption. Turning to auto distributor Jetcon, they report a 6 months net profit of $123.94 million. As a result, net profit for the 6 months ending June 30, 2026 amounted to $123.4 million, a 195% increase compared to $42.02 million reported in the corresponding period last year. Caribbean insurance brokers reported a 6 months net loss of $19.23 million Jamaican dollars. There was no tax charge incurred for the period under review, and that was also the case in 2025 as a result of their junior market status. Now looking at MPC Caribbean Clean Energy Limited, they reported a 6 months net loss of US $2.47 million. For the 6 months ending June 30, 2026, MPC Caribbean Clean Energy Limited reported a valuation loss on investment totaling US $2,459,136 million compared to the loss in 2025 of US $839,830. For the trading period of August 12, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited with 9,333,600 units, representing 34.25% of market sales. Jamaica Stock Exchange with 2,349,825 units, representing 8.62% of market sales. Lasco Manufacturing Limited shares with 2,165,950 units, representing 7.95% of market sales. Investor activity remained concentrated in distribution and transportation plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market based on Bank of Jamaica data for August 12, 2026, Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. For the US dollar, trading margins reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $158.87 and buying at $157.46. For the Canadian dollar, moderate gains supported by 16-cent transaction spreads. The Canadian dollar sold for $114.35 and was bought for $114.19. For the British pound, continued volatility offered short-term trading opportunities of $10.09 in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $217.31 and was bought for $207.22. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, your credit report is part of your financial resume. After 50, rebuilding credit isn't simply about getting back to a good credit score. Think of your credit report as a financial resume. When you apply for financing, lenders are looking for evidence that your financial behavior has become stronger and more predictable. That means clean up what you can. Show consistency. Create financial capacity. Document your progress. The goal isn't to erase your financial history. It's to create enough positive financial evidence that your history no longer tells the whole story. At 50 plus, you may be rebuilding, but you're also repositioning. Make your credit profile reflect the financial future you're preparing to create. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, judicial leaders across the Caribbean are expressing concern over a confidentiality breach at the Caribbean Court of Justice following a leak of internal emails containing allegations against CCJ President Justice Winston Anderson. The allegations include claims of authoritarian leadership, panel fixing, and attempts to influence case outcomes. Justice Anderson has not publicly responded. In a joint statement emailed to the media on Wednesday, judicial heads from Barbados, the Bahamas, Belize, Guyana, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court said they would not comment on the allegations or the court's internal processes. They nevertheless reaffirm confidence in the CCJ while stressing their commitment to judicial independence, institutional integrity, and public trust. Barbados is ready to host the Caribbean Investment Forum 2026, set for October. The forum, in its 5th year, aims to connect international investors with investment-ready Caribbean opportunities. Host for the event, the Caribbean Export Development Agency held a media launch at the Hilton Barbados Resort. CBC News' Fernando Corbin has more.
Under the theme, Invest, Innovate, Accelerate, the forum will bring together governments, investors, development finance institutions, entrepreneurs, and strategic partners to unlock greater investment opportunities. Chairperson of the Caribbean Export Development Agency, Dr. Dami Sinanan, says the forum strengthens the region's profile as an investment destination, supporting sustainable growth across the region. He highlights the forum's impact, noting that it has supported an investment pipeline worth millions of dollars.
We have built a growing pipeline of investment-ready opportunities across the region. Today, that portfolio stands at 30 projects valued at approximately US $172 million. And these are not just ideas on paper. They are businesses' initiatives that have moved from concept to credible, investable proposals, ready to be matched with the right partners and capital needed to realize that investment. Each forum has also forged a lasting partnership amongst governments, developmental institutions, investors, as well as the important private sector, while strengthening the international awareness of the Caribbean as a region with credible investment potential.
He says this year's event will focus on helping attendees to take action in 4 priority areas: sustainable agriculture, the green economy transition, digital transformation, and transportation and logistics.
This forum will not just feature talking